So this is a podcast from Yancey and Gunhammer and my wife Victoria, Starboy Gunhammer. We just want to share a few things and just encouraging people and speak life into some situations, and we're just thankful to have this opportunity, and hopefully get some people listening. And I'm just going to introduce myself, and like I said, I'm Yancey Gunhammer, and I live in the middle of South Dakota, and I'd like to introduce my wife. Say hello.
Hello.
Victoria, and she's got a little testimony she wants to share a little bit, and I'll join in. This is our first time doing this, and it's something the Lord's put on our heart to do, and especially my wife's. We're going to make a run at this, and just bear with us with our first broadcast. Go ahead, Vic.
I guess first I just like to share, and like Yancy said, to have this opportunity to share what the Lord has done in our lives, and I guess I'll share from. I'm thinking about how to make it a short testimony because my testimony can go long. It's been amazing where my life is now. It's just I just have so much joy in my heart, and so when I met the Lord, He changed my whole life, and I recall just having a alcohol problem, and everything that whether I was sad, whether I was happy, no matter what it was, I wanted to turn to alcohol, and alcohol became my best friend. And I lost my sister in 2003, and I thought that my whole world was crushed. And I remember that my heart felt like it was being smashed, and I felt so lonely, and I seriously felt like I was going to die from a broken heart. I still can remember that day sometime like it was yesterday, but I also remember how good the Lord has been to me and what He's done. But I remember that it was in August when she passed away in 2003, and then I went into a depression, and it just seemed like drinking just became worse, and I just began to I didn't see it right away because it just seemed like I was always having. It just seemed like it was fun. But one day, the hangover that I had, we were actually celebrating my sister's death anniversary, which sounds crazy now to me, but that's what we were doing. And I just remember we were in Rapid, and I woke up with the worst hangover ever, and it almost killed me. I remember it so well, and I just thought to myself, when is this ever going to end? And so I decided that I would try to quit drinking, and so I did for about 3 months, and it was going good. And I would look at the calendar, and I'm like, I did it. These days would pass, and then it was in November, the end of October, beginning of November, when I got a craving 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and I just remember that I went to the fridge because I just had this craving, and I had a stash in there, and so I took that and just hung on to it, and I just remember looking at it, but I remember thinking, I just can't do this. I just can't do this. And so I took him to the bathroom, and I spilled them out in the stool, and then I just sat on the edge of the bathtub, and I could just feel this hopelessness, and I just thought, when is this ever going to end? And then I remember going from the bathroom to my living room in my little C400 that my husband and I live in. And I went to the couch and I just got on my knees. And I just remember putting my head on the cushions, and I just cried out to the Lord. And actually, I just called out to God, and I just said, I can't do this alone. I need your help. And I remember putting up my hand in the air. I remember looking in the air, looking up to the ceiling, and just asking the Lord for help, asking God for help. And then I just remember crying. And then the next day, I woke up, and I remember looking around, and I remember thinking, something is different. It was so bright in the house, and I remember walking around in my house, and I went in the bedroom, and the sun was shining in the same way, and I didn't understand it, but I knew that something was different. I knew that for the first time I saw the sun, and I was 30. I think I was 34 years old, and I just remember seeing the sun for the first time, and I remember asking the Lord. I remember calling out to God and just saying, wow, I knew what you did for me. I'll never forget it. And I was a little nervous because I was afraid of the cravings. Because before, the cravings would hit me like a freight train, So I was a little nervous. But as time went on, the days passed, I just began to feel this heaviness or leave me. And I remember going to my mom and telling her that I wanted to read a Bible. And I went to see her. And my mom looked at me like what? And she smiled and she said, okay. So she went and got a Bible out of this basket, and she gave it to me, and I had no idea how to read it, but I remember reading it, and I just remember reading it, and reading the scriptures, and scriptures just begin to just reach out to me and touch me. And I didn't understand it because I grew up going to church with my mom, and I grew up going to revivals, and I grew up in going to Catholic church, and when I was real young, and then when I got older, my mom took me everywhere, and I didn't understand it because something was different, and I just remember that I felt like I could see like rainbows everywhere, and I felt this joy, and I wanted to shout it out to the world that my cravings were gone. And then I remember sometime I would still feel this darkness in my heart, and I remember asking God, like, what is that, And I don't understand it because I felt this joy, and I felt I could see the sun every single day. I seen the tree, and I felt like I could hug a tree, and it was just amazing. And yet I still felt this darkness, and the Lord began to talk to me, and He began to hold my heart, and He began to tell me that the alcohol that, that I was covering up these things, and he would show me that when I was being molested, I was molested when I was a kid, from probably the ages of, like, I don't know, I guess 4 or 5 to probably 10, and he began to show me these memories, and wow, I just remember laying on my couch, and I remember reading the Bible, and I remember talking to God, and I felt like he was speaking to my heart, and he would say, I want you to remember these. And I remember telling him that I don't want to, but there was just something about it, that the way he held my heart and the way he hugged me, that I needed to remember. And the more that I remembered, the more that I remembered, the more that it was like I could just feel the heaviness leave, and so I just began to talk to the Lord. He began to take me through those memories, and then also the physical abuse that I went through with my mom, and he just began to show me all of this, and I just began to talk to him. It was like an everyday thing, and the more I read the Bible, the more I went to talk to him, and then also my sister, my broken heart, he began to show me, and some of the music I listened to, he would show me not to listen to it just because it made me so sad, and I began to find music that made me feel better, worship music and stuff. I didn't know that at the time, but that's what it was. And then, but he just began to take me through these things, and then I just could feel my heart being healed, and I just began to just be able to love myself, and I felt beautiful again, and I began to have this love for my husband and for my kids, and he would show me how to be a godly wife, and just to be a wife that was pleasing to him, and even a mom, and there's just so much more. But that's how I came to the Lord, and he changed my life. And I just remember telling him, that it was amazing, because I'd be watching movies and I'd say, I would die for him, and never knew that I could ever have that. I would ever do that in my life for Jesus. And so it's kind of my short version, I guess, of my testimony.
So I'm going to share a few scriptures here. We've got about a minute left. And first one's Deuteronomy 36. And the Lord your God will circumcise your heart and the heart of your descendants to love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your lives. And the next one is Ezekiel 36:26. I will give you a new heart and put a new spirit within you. I will take your heart of stone out of your flesh and give you a heart of flesh. So this is our first broadcast. We've got about 15 minutes for each one. So I'd just like to thank you for tuning in. We'll share a little bit more in the next broadcast or podcast. Vic, you want to say anything?
No, just thank you for this opportunity. God is good.
We'll see you in the next episode.